Glazer and Associates. The views and opinions expressed in this content do not reflect those of 850 WFTL.
And welcome to Condo Craze and HOAs here on 850 WFTL. I'm Karen Curtis. Good morning. And welcome back to our show. We're here each Sunday at 11 on 850 WFTL in South Florida. And we are live on our YouTube channel. Go to Condo Craze and HOAs there. You can also correspond with us in the chat box. I'm here again with attorney Eric Glazer from Glazer and Sachs, PA. He's board certified by the Florida Bar in Condominium and Plan Development Law. He has a firm with lawyers in Fort Lauderdale and Orlando. And we're here each week to answer all your calls and emails about anything that makes life in your condominium or HOA absolutely crazy nuts from 1 minute to the next. And we'd love to get those phone lines going early. So go ahead and give us a call toll free or go to the chat box on our YouTube channel. It is 877-850-8585, 877-850-8585. Eric.
All right, good morning, everybody. And, of course, if you're a fan of the show, don't forget to do two things. Number one, subscribe to the Condo Craze and HOAs channel on YouTube, like Karen was talking about. You can not only watch the show live and type in your questions, but you can watch any show that we've previously done. Number two, of course, join the Condo Craze and HOAs email list. That is so important. Do it at condocrazeandhoas.com. By joining each week, you're going to get emails about the show, our blog, our free seminars, our newsletters, updates on the law, and a lot more. We do a blog every single Monday morning for 13 years now. And that blog is found at hoa-condoblog.com. Again, hoa-condoblog.com. Tomorrow's topic, community association websites, and we're going to talk about that a little bit this morning. But before we start, I just want to say thank you, and I'm really looking for the opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to a big week ahead. Wednesday, we're going to be in Orlando at 8:30 in the morning at the L&L Condo and HOA Expo at the Orlando Convention Center. We haven't been there in a while, and I really look forward to going to Orlando. And Thursday at 8:30, we're going to be in Tampa, next day in Tampa. Orlando Wednesday, Tampa Thursday. And Tampa, we're going to be at the L&L Condo and HOA Expo at the Tampa Bay Convention Center. Of course, like always, we're given the honor of kicking off both events with our Condo Craze Board Certification course for both condo and HOA members. We really look forward to it.
Yeah, so to register, you can, for either event, just go to the show's website, condocrazeandhoas.com. Everything is at that website, even links to our YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
Everything's there.
You can do research
Blogs.
on any topic that you've ever done. We're artificial intelligence, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I introduced
our
Eric
blog.
to artificial intelligence today. He's a little blown away.
Let's just say it's scary. It's scary. And they're saying that they're going to hold it back for a couple of months because the public is not going to be able to cope with it.
It's over.
It's going to take away jobs. It's absolutely frightening. Okay, believe it or not, we're talking about the seminars, and because these venues are only 45 minutes away from each other, sometimes we have people go to both events.
Really?
Yeah, that's how much
that's
they truly
so funny. Really?
enjoy the seminars.
Because you teach something different each time, right?
Well, it's a little different, yeah, absolutely. But the questions are always different from the audience, right?
Yeah,
so
yes.
people love coming, and people make the trip.
They love you.
Yeah, thank you. We love them. And as all of you know by now, Florida condominiums having 150 or more units, you got to have a website that only owners can access and which posts the original records of the association.
And you had your hand in making that law, right?
Yeah, that's right, Karen. And here's a little background on how that law was passed. When that law was originally drafted, the law was only supposed to apply to condominiums of 150 units or more. 500 units or more. 500 units or more. So, less than 1% of condominiums in Florida are 500 units or more.
What?
Yeah.
Jeez, well, that doesn't apply to a lot of people.
Who is that law supposed to apply to? So I flew up to Tallahassee, met with the Speaker of the House, as a matter of fact, and I said, the law is drafted as a joke. How about we go down to 50? And the compromise was 150.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So they amended it.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and it certainly has to help the condo manager because, they don't have to deal with the owners requesting copies of records anymore. Just send them to the website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which makes sense.
Since the law's in existence, we've had, I never had any bad reviews. It's only been positive reviews. And I never heard one person tell me it was a bad law. In fact, I got to tell you, it's a great law. It's about transparency. And what's the number one complaint unit owners have?
Transparency.
Right? My board is not being
They're
transparent.
not talking to me.
Happens all the time. Well, this takes away that argument. All the records are there for the owners to see, bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about condos that have less than 150 units?
Should they have a website too? Just because the law requires condominiums of 150 units or more to have a website, that does not mean that condominiums of less than 150 units can't have a website.
Yeah, you don't need a law to tell you what to do.
Exactly right. In fact, in this attorney's opinion, if your condominium contains 50 units or more, you can and should have a website for the same reasons that condominiums with 150 units or more have. And I got to tell you, one of the great reasons is that it takes the burden off managers to having respond to requests for records. It prevents lawsuits or arbitrations as long as the website is kept up to date. And if it isn't, let me tell you this, though. If you have a website and the website's not cut up to date,
Then it's purposeless.
then, it's problematic.
Oh, it's illegal?
Because the DBPR will come out if someone rats you out. The DBPR will fine that condo association thousands of dollars.
No.
Yeah, I had it with clients. So condominiums who are listening out there, if you have a website, that's fantastic, but make sure that it is up to date. Really, really important.
And what about the redheaded stepchildren,
Oh.
the HOAs? They don't.
Yeah.
They don't have to have a website.
What do you think?
I mean, what?
Right?
Yeah.
They're totally left
Should
alone.
they?
So think about how large, though, some associations are. Right? Bless you.
Oh my gosh.
Think about how large some associations are. They're gigantic. Some HOAs contain in excess of 500 homes. Some have excess of 1,000 homes. They're sprawling, in effect, mini cities. And you would think that those communities, like condos, should be required to post their records on an official website as well. But no. HOAs are not required to have a website. But as we learn, from this show over and over again, there is simply a hands-off approach when it comes to HOAs. But just because the law requires condominiums of 150 units or more to have a website, that doesn't mean that HOAs can't have a website.
Yeah, I mean, so I know that the legislature is busy with the budget this week, but do you think that they are planning on amending the law to require HOAs to have a website?
Nope,
No,
absolutely not.
because there's no way to monitor it. DBPR doesn't work for them.
No, absolutely. Nobody cares about HOAs at this point. It's a complete hands-off approach, and I think it's one law the legislature should amend. All communities, both condos, co-ops, and HOAs with 50 units or more or 50 homes or more, you should be required, and again, in my opinion, to have a community association website where the official records and notices of meetings are posted. Bottom line, it's going to make the residents less suspicious of you because it's great for transparency.
Right.
It's going to make them happier. And, unfortunately, there's no plan at the moment to amend the law. But we want to know what our listeners think, especially if there's any managers out there or frustrated people that live in an HOA and can't get access to their records, right?
Well, believe it or not, a lot of them, the 55 and over don't even have computers.
That's true.
So a website is like, huh?
Yeah, to some I agree. But let me tell you, there's a lot of people, 55. I'm 55 for goddamn. So
I just figured, yes.
But I got to tell you, for those that have access to computers, they don't have to bother their manager. They don't have to leave the house. Sometimes the records are stored miles away, right? So you don't have to get in your car and drive to the office, to the manager's office to get copies of the records, and then be told that you have to pay for the records. So it's all good. A community association website is just, to me, all good. Someone tell me what's bad about it,
Yeah.
Someone tell me what's bad about it.
Well, if it's not updated, you have to pay a lot of
Right,
money.
that's the only thing. But I think it's a win-win for the community. Certainly a win-win for the board, if nothing else. Again, transparency. Look, we have nothing to hide. Here's all the records. You can see them. To me, that's a big plus for a board of directors.
But you also have to pay someone to set it up and keep it up to date.
All right, but whatever the cost is, look, you have a 500 home
Yeah.
HOA.
Yeah.
What does it cost?
Right.
30 cents a month per person,
I
So
see.
It's absolutely worth it. to me. That's
Okay.
that's my thoughts. But I'd like to know what our listeners think. A lot of listeners out there certainly went from a situation where there was no website to now having a website. So let us know what you think. Taking your calls, everybody. 877-850-8585. Again, 877-850-8585. Or just drop us any question you'd like in the chat box on the Condo Craze and HOA's channel on YouTube. We'll be back right after this.
There are very large management companies, and there are very small management companies, and I think affinity.
Oh no! An unexpected leak. Jay, you know that's no way to solve a roof problem. Call Best Roofing. We solve roof problems.
We are DMI Paving and Seal Coating, Florida's parking lot experts. We specialize in asphalt paving and repair, including pothole repair, seal coating using JC7 or polytar, concrete curbs, ramps, and walkways, and striping and pavement marking, as well as ADA compliance. We service commercial properties, including homeowners associations, apartment communities, shopping malls, warehouses, stadiums and arenas, and more. Experience is worth more than anything in an industry like ours, and our staff has decades of it. We have specialized equipment for any job, regardless of size, saving you time and money. DMI has a reputable history. We have been in business since 1956. We serve the state of Florida from 6 locations. Let us bid on your next parking lot project. Visit us online at dmipavingandsealcoating.com.
There are very large management companies, and there are very small management companies, and I think Affinity sits somewhere in the middle of that, where they are big enough to provide you with all of the back of the house services, the accounting, the infrastructure, the support systems, but small enough to be high touch.
We believe at Affinity that we do the 9 to 5 so that you don't have to do that.
He's an expert specialist in community association law. Phones are stacked, but when one opens up a line, give us a call 877-850-8585 or go ahead and visit us on the YouTube channel. It's called Condo Craze and HOAs, and you can ask us a question in the chat box.
All right, Kathy actually did that. Eric, if a condo board updates changes a rule, they change a rule or regulation for the happiness of the residents, but it's different from our bylaws, is it legal to do so? Since our docs are 20 years old. Kathy, that is a fantastic question. So when I teach the course, I always teach the fact that boards of directors are able to make reasonable rules and regulations regarding the common elements of the association. What they can't do, however, they got to be really, really careful. They have to review their documents first, because they can't make a rule about a situation if it's already spoken for in the declaration of condominium. So for example, let's say the board, the governing documents say everybody's allowed 1 pet, and the board says we're getting tired of everybody having all these pets all over the place. From now on, we're making a rule that says no pets. Can they do that? Absolutely not.
No.
Right? What do they got to do? They got to amend the governing documents. So boards got to be careful, Kathy. Great question. When they make a rule, stop. See, is this situation discussed, referred to in the bylaws or the declaration of condominium? If it is, can't make that rule. Can't do it the easy way. You got to go now and get a vote of the community to amend that provision of the governing documents. Great question. All right, VJ, who do we got?
We have Barry in Miami.
Hey, Barry.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Eric. How are
How
you?
are you?
How are
What's
you?
the latest legislatively?
I have my fingers crossed, but who knows?
Right. Who knows?
Really?
I don't know. I don't know. You know, they make commitments to adopt mandatory board education, but they're politicians.
Right.
So
Yep, I get it.
You don't believe them, Barry?
What's going on? How can we help?
Okay, so there's three things. You don't have to learn about the new rules. You don't have to learn about milestone inspections. You don't have to learn about structural integrity reserve studies. If you don't have a structural integrity reserve study done, it's totally a self-enforcement provision. Nothing happens. It's a breach of fiduciary duty. It doesn't mean anything. You can have pre-suit mediation, but if no unit owner complains,
That's true.
nothing happens.
I agree with you
Totally
completely.
self-enforcement.
I agree 100% with you. It's total self-enforcement. You know, unless your building official orders one and you don't listen to the building official, obviously. But if it's time for an inspection and you don't get that notice from the city and you don't do it, then la-di-da, you just got away with doing a milestone inspection, right? You don't have to do it. And if nobody rats you out, then nothing happens, right?
La-di-da.
Yeah. Right? Then it totally is self-enforcement.
Yeah.
So my thought, and I think, Barry, we spoke about this once before, the DBPR charges condominiums about $14 million a year. Think about that, $14 million. And it's supposed to go back, obviously, it's supposed to go into a trust fund, believe it or not, a trust fund, to be spent on condo unit owners.
But that busts down to about, what, $2 a
$4. Everybody pays $4 per unit per year.
Okay.
And it goes into a trust fund, and it's supposed to be spent on the condo owners.
No.
About $7 million gets spent on the condo owners, and the other $7 million gets taken out of that trust fund and gets spent on the general revenue. It gets swept into the general revenue fund. So $7 million is in effect stolen from condo owners. Now think about that. If I put money that was earmarked for something in my trust account,
Oh,
and I decided to use it for something else,
No,
right?
bad idea.
I go to prison for that,
yes.
right? The legislature, they can just steal it. It's kind of amazing, Barry, no?
Well, what if
Amazing.
condominiums did that?
So here's my question, Eric. This is the third item. And this is a real situation. It's actually happened 2 weeks ago. Somebody called me up with the situation. So suppose a condominium association has a milestone inspection. The report shows that they have millions of dollars of repairs. The declaration says in order to impose a special assessment, they need a unit owner vote. They go to you, Eric, and they ask you, can we do the
Right.
special assessment because these are necessary repairs? You issue an opinion letter to them saying, yes, there's case law. It says if there's necessary repairs, it doesn't matter that the declaration requires a unit owner vote. Now they want to borrow. And the declaration says you need unit owner approval to borrow. This actually happened, a real life case. And 80% of the unit owners say, no, we don't approve the borrowing.
Very interesting.
What happens? I know you can fine for not paying assessments. I know you can suspend voting rights. I know you
There's
can
a
suspend,
lot there. Okay, there's a
huge
lot
rights.
there, and it's the question of the day. I mean, it's a really important question. So you got to do all these repairs. The governing documents say the board can't pass a special assessment, and you need the unit owner's approval to borrow. And this is, yes, this happens all over the place. This happens. So here's how I deal with it. When it comes to making the repairs, right, when it comes to making the repairs, there's case law out there. You can look at the Shelbourne case I was involved in. That case pretty much makes it clear that as a board member, you have an absolute responsibility, a fiduciary duty, to keep the property in good repair. Okay? So I don't care what your documents say about not passing a special assessment. You absolutely can do that, and that would be my opinion. You must do that, and the property has to be brought into good repair. I mean, God, so people don't get killed there.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I mean, then
Right.
that's
And
on
a
you.
Look, that a building doesn't collapse. Okay, now the problem is, okay, we agree the repairs have to be made. How do you make the repairs? You want to borrow money from a bank, but it says, well, you need the approval of the people there to borrow money. So I will never issue an opinion to a bank, and I write opinions to banks all day long. I will never issue an opinion to a bank that says the board has the power to borrow if the governing documents say that they need a vote and they didn't get that vote. Never. I will never tell a bank that it's okay to lend this condo money. So the only thing that association is going to have to do, Barry, they are stuck, and they're going to have to pass a special assessment. They have to make the repairs. They can't borrow money, so they're going to be stuck making that special assessment.
But the people can't pay for it. Unit owners can't pay the special assessment. So
Then they'll be forced out, right?
Are you going to foreclose?
Yeah, we are.
Are you going to foreclose on?
Yes.
That's what's going to happen?
Yes, that is exactly what's going to happen. Look, a lot of people out there know it's coming. We dealt with this situation in like 2007, 2008, 2009 in South Florida. And is it coming again? To some extent, it is. In some buildings, it is. Those buildings that fail to put away any money for reserves and have a lot of people on fixed incomes, it's going to hit 55 and over communities that didn't put away money hard. This is really going to hit a lot of 55 and over communities hard because they didn't save money. They waived reserves 30 years in a row. So the answer, Barry, is yes, people are going to get foreclosed on, and there's going to be tens of thousands of those cases here in South Florida. Yes.
I don't think anyone really realizes that.
No, safety is going to come first. If I'm a building official, there will never be a situation like the Champlain Towers on my watch. And that's what every building official throughout Florida is thinking now.
But what if that was a one-off, Eric? What if it was just that building?
It could
You're going to
be
punish
just that
everybody
building.
and kick all these old people out?
Does it mean, though, that that one building fell? That's true, but does it mean that all these other buildings in the state do not need mandatory massive repairs? Buildings are getting to be 50, 60, 70 years old in some places. I'm sorry, and they've never been touched. Some of them have never been touched. Are you telling me if I'm a building official, I'm going to just ignore that?
Well,
no.
how long
no.
have the buildings in New York been standing?
But I'm sure they go through inspections as well.
Huh.
And maybe they don't go through hurricanes up there and stuff.
Yeah.
But
and they're not
Barry,
built on sand.
It's a great question. I think you opened the eyes this morning, of a lot of people who just aren't grasping the magnitude of these new laws, and they better quickly. And that's what I try to do with these seminars. I really try to wake people up that this is not, a joke. It's not pie in the sky
happening.
tough we're talking about. It's here, and it's happening. And within the next 3 years or so, everybody better hold on. And if you don't think you're going to be able to afford what's coming, you have a very limited window to get out now. So, I think you need to think about it. You're going to have situations perhaps where elderly people are going back to live with their children. That could absolutely happen here. I made that statement on 60 Minutes where if Florida is no longer the state where senior citizens can come down to and move into a condominium if their sole income is Social Security. Those days are gone forever. Barry, I really appreciate the phone call. We're stacked, buddy. Thank you like always. You woke a lot of people up this morning.
Great. Bye.
Who do we got, VJ?
We have Joe in Boynton Beach.
Joe, how are you, Joe?
Good morning, Karen and Eric.
What's
Morning.
up?
Good morning. Yes, my question is, we have a director consists of 7 members. Can 4 members attend a clubhouse committee meeting?
It's my opinion that, they're just there as board members, and none of them are on that committee. All they're doing is listening.
Correct.
If all they're doing is listening, I think it's fine. I think the problem is when you start discussing. The problem comes when you start
That's
discussing.
What I'm verify.
Yeah,
you're
I
a
think.
resident first, and then you're a director second.
I'm sorry.
I said you're a resident first, and then a director.
Right.
second. The
I
resident
think
has
you
the
have.
right
I
to-
think you have the right to attend that. Absolutely, as long as you guys that are the board are not talking about it, not conducting business, not making decisions, then I think you're fine.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. I don't know how Barry gets on the first all the time, no matter what.
No matter
how early
what.
I call it, he beats me.
I get it. I don't know
Thank you.
either.
Have a good day, sir.
You
It's
got it.
magic.
All right, who else we got?
We have John in Dania Beach.
Hey, John.
Yes, good morning, Karen. Good morning, Eric. And I'll be quick about this, but by the way, we just put in a official records request. We requested 19 items, we got 3. But the question is this. Our board has put us in a position where supposedly our insurance is going to go from $379,000 to $1 million.
Wow.
And we also have to replace our barrel tile roofs. We have about 22 buildings with barrel tile roofs. The rest of the roofs are asphalt shingle. Now, bear in mind, all of the units are the same color scheme. And we don't have money for either, even though they just passed a special assessment. So in order to save money, what we could do, money that we don't have, by the way, in order to do this project, we could simply take the barrel tile roofs and convert them to the asphalt shingle like the rest of the buildings. Again, it's not going to reduce anybody's property value, and it's going to match perfectly because all the buildings are of the same color scheme.
Right.
However, in our bylaws under Article 12, insurance, and this is one sentence, so let me read this to you. 12.02, replacement or repair of property. In the event, and the board is telling me we can't do this because of this, what I'm about to read. In the event of damage to or destruction of any part of the common properties, which also includes limited common properties, or the building structures located on lots, the association shall repair or replace the same from the insurance proceeds available, subject to the provisions of Article 11 of this declaration. Now, this is not going to be replaced with insurance money, number one. Number two, it says in the event of damage or destruction, as if we had a hurricane. The useful life of these
It
barrel
just
tile
expired.
roofs
That's all. Just time
is
to fix
gone.
them. Yeah, I don't
Pardon?
think there's any way that you're violating any insurance provision as long as you're putting on a roof that passes inspection by the county. Period.
Right, and the fact that it says it's referring to damage or destruction. The useful life of those roofs is over. They should have been replaced 5 years ago. That's 27 years. The board had 27 years to get ready for this, and they failed.
Right.
So would you agree with me that we're simply replacing, and this provision does not affect what we're doing?
I would agree with you. It's no problem at all. That's my interpretation.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
the
very
call,
much, sir.
John. All right, let's go back to the board.
Take care.
Gigi, hi, Karen and Eric. How enforceable is the section of the Florida statutes that states that the condo association cannot hire the management company's attorneys? Interesting question.
What?
Okay.
Management companies have attorneys?
Yes. So there's a section of the Florida statutes. This came out a couple of years ago that says the association cannot hire an attorney if that attorney is already representing the management company. So
Ooh,
you
I
have
did not
to,
know
you
that.
have to, if you have a management company and now you're interviewing for attorneys, you have to ask these attorneys, wait a minute, do you represent our management company?
What if they represent another management company?
That's fine.
Okay.
But if you represent this one, the association is not allowed to hire that management company.
Do you represent management companies?
Yeah, we have in the past,
Okay.
absolutely. So the association cannot hire that firm if that firm is already representing the management company of the association.
What, that would make the management company too powerful?
Yes, I think that's the reason before your attorney would have a conflict.
Yeah.
Because if your management company is screwing up,
Yes.
you can't tell your attorney go against the management company because the attorney says, wait a minute, that's my client.
Right.
Okay? So, how enforceable is it? It's very enforceable. And if the association has violated that and the law firm has violated that, I think what you do is you send a certified letter to the association saying, hey, here's the statute, here's what's going on. Our attorneys are representing both sides of the coin. It's violating the statute. We need to fire our attorneys. You have 5 days to do it. If they don't do it, quite frankly, you can get in touch with the DBPR. I think they will look into it. And I will say that once you make and I hate saying this, but once you put the association on notice, once you put the law firm on notice and the law firm doesn't step down, Sorry, that's a bar violation.
Wow.
They know they're violating the statute, and they're still hanging in there. Yeah, to me, that's a bar violation. So that's how I think about it. Okay. Yeah.
Would some people want to hire the attorney through the management company so they don't have to pay the attorney? Is that what they're
they
trying
got to
to
pay the attorney anyway. They have to pay the attorney
even if he's
anyway.
the management company?
Attorney's getting paid twice.
Ah.
Attorney's getting paid from both sides of the
It's
coin.
maybe they're trying to
Association
save a
and
dime.
management company. Yeah. And to me, it violates the statute. That's it. It violates the statute. Can't be done. If the law firm does it, they're violating the statute. That's a bar complaint.
It's like if you're getting divorced and you want to use your husband's attorney.
Right, to save money. Right. Can't happen.
Won't happen.
So let's do this. Let's take our bottom of the hour break. Taking your calls, 877-850-8585, 877-850-8585, or drop your question in the question box on the YouTube channel. We will be back right after this.
The future of fiber is here. QXC Communications is a fiber network engineering firm based in Boca Raton. We build fiber networks that deliver high-speed internet, Wi-Fi, HDTV, and voice services, primarily to Florida's condominium communities. QXC's AON architecture is the industry's best practice and a game changer for our customers. We run 2 dedicated fibers to each unit. No splitters, no cables. So, every resident gets uninterrupted, blazing fast speed and
AJ?
military-grade data security.
I'm here.
Any calls?
Yes, we're stacked.
We're stacked, thanks.
You're our you're our move Barry around in the show.
Just have VJ pick him up fifth.
Okay. Hour of Condo Craze and HOAs here on 850 WFTL and on our YouTube channel, Condo Craze and HOAs. And if you have a question, don't wait to the end of the show to give us a call at 877-850-8585 to talk to Eric Glazer. He is board certified in community association law, so half the state lives in one. If you have a question, give him a call.
All right, let's go back to the board. Eric writes in, what about people who are not funding their reserves properly and have been rating the reserves to offset maintenance and repair costs instead of replacements? Is that legal? Well, wow, a lot of issues with that question. People who are not funding the reserves properly. So when we manage a condo association, of course, how is it done? When we're running a condo association, you do that budget every year, and that budget has to show fully funded reserves when that budget goes out. And of course, that reserve study, starting soon, can no longer be done by any board member, right? People who were formerly cab drivers and teachers and stuff can no longer make decisions about how many years the roof has left, right? It's now going to be done by architects. Of course it's a good thing. Now it's going to be done by architects and engineers. So now you have to also do a structural integrity reserve study. You think reserves were complicated before. Now there's going to be 10 items in your structural integrity reserve study, plus anything else that's $10,000 or more. And that's going to be done by an architect or engineer, and you're not going to be able to waive it. So, Eric, what happened in the past, I can tell you, coming up, that's not going to be able to be done, period. And you can't raid the reserves. No way you can raid the reserves without a vote of the owners to waive them in the first place. Can't offset maintenance by using the reserves unless you get a vote of the owners, at least a majority of a quorum at a properly noticed meeting. But going forward, you're not going to be able to waive any of the reserves in the structural integrity reserve study. So there's those 10 items that are deal with the structure of the building. Forget it. You're not going to be ever able to waive them in the future. And for all other things that you normally waive for, let's say the swimming pool, the elevators, things like that, the legislature seems to be making it difficult where you're not going to be able to waive them unless you get a majority of all owners, not just a majority of a quorum, a majority of all owners. So when it comes to reserves, there's a thought process out there that, like, look, we didn't make you put away reserves before, like I begged them to do. So we didn't make you put away reserves before. Now we're really making you put it away.
Yeah, big time.
We're going to make up for 30 years pretty quickly. Yeah, that's the way the legislature's dealing with it now. Who do we got, VJ?
We have Bruce in Chicago.
Oh, really?
Chicago.
Hey,
how are you, Bruce?
Chi-Town.
I'm fine. How are you, Eric?
Well, all right. What's going on?
Good. Have you heard about Fannie Mae's new secret condo blacklist?
No, I have not. What is that?
There is a YouTube content producer by the name of Michael Bordenero, and he does daily updates on the South Florida condo market. And on his YouTube segment yesterday,
right,
he mentioned that Fannie Mae supposedly has a condo blacklist,
right,
and for which they will not buy loans in certain complexes.
Don't doubt it.
And it's only gets worse because Fannie Mae will not release a copy of it.
Really?
He related the yeah.
Isn't that a government agency? Yeah. How can they do that? It's a government agency. Shouldn't all governmental records be
right,
be
Eric?
Unbelievable.
That's I'm a lawyer as well, and I was stunned, and that's why I was calling you to let you know about this. So he went on to relate the story of a buyer who went shopping for a condo, found one, wrote up an offer, submitted it, got it accepted, applied for a loan, and was subsequently denied. And when he asked why, they said, well, you're on Fannie Mae's condo blacklist.
Let's be honest about something.
He said, well, can I have a have a copy of that list?
And he couldn't get it.
Fannie Mae supposedly said no.
Okay.
They said, why is this condo complex on the blacklist? They wouldn't say.
Okay.
And they said, well, what can we do to get off the blacklist? And they wouldn't answer that question either.
Okay, so let's be honest about something, right? Who are these new laws going to hit the hardest? Who do they always hit the hardest? People that can't afford it, poor people, right? These laws are going to hit obviously poor people.
Anybody who wants to apply for get a loan for a Fannie Freddie, and I think that with Fannie, and it is. The loan limits for Fannie, I think, now go up into the 700,000. So it's more than just first-time home buyers. I think it's the middle tier as well.
Right. So they got if somebody wants to buy a home in Sunny Isles Beach, beautiful, beautiful area. I don't think Sunny Isles has any of those condos on their blacklist.
So it's not the person that's blacklisted;
No,
it's the
community,
building,
right? But if you're talking to me about poor neighborhoods that the building hasn't been touched, like I always say, in 30, 40 years, and there's no money in reserves, are you surprised that it's on Fannie's blacklist? Are they going to loan money for someone to buy in that condo when they know in that condo in 2 years they're going to need millions of dollars to make repairs, and probably everybody's going to wind up getting foreclosed on at some point? Are you surprised that there's a blacklist?
I don't know. I don't think it's a bad idea, but the fact that Fannie Mae is being so tight-lipped
secretive
and
about
won't
it,
even release it's horrible.
I agree. I'm with you 100%, but it doesn't surprise me that banks are not going to loan in certain situations because they're not going to be of the belief that people are going to be able to pay these monies back each month, and there's going to be a lot of foreclosures going on.
Cash buyers.
Yeah. Well, in the poor neighborhoods, a lot of times you don't find that. So
again, developers will come in, knock the building down.
Right, exactly. That's probably what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of gentrification because of these new laws, believe me. Who do we got next, VJ?
Okay, we have Dinata in Miami.
Hey, Dinata, how are you?
Hi, Eric. How are you?
Okay, how can we help?
Again.
You're welcome. How can we help?
When you hire a lawyer, it doesn't matter if you live in 50 units, 150 units, or 5,000 units. You pay the same fee.
Correct.
Or if you file a complaint with DBPR, it's the same trouble for any of them. The fact that only 150 up should show, it's absurd. Everybody, every condominium, every association should have the obligation to show
a website
monthly, what's going on with people's money.
Absolutely. No two ways about it.
It's ridiculous. That's why there's so many stealing.
I agree with you.
The boards don't have to show.
I agree with you 100%.
My question is the following. In this condominium, after 4 years of not having elections, in October of last year, they did the budget for last year in October. This year, as of now, we do not have a budget for 2023. What do you think of that?
Well, it's illegal. Obviously, every single year, the Florida statutes make it clear that the board is supposed to adopt a budget for that year, period. Normally, it's done like in November so that when January comes around, the coupons are printed and everybody knows what they need to pay starting January. So not to do it violates Florida statute, violates your governing documents, and the board needs to get their act together. No two ways about that.
Okay.
Thank you for the call, Donata.
Thank you very much.
You got it. We got to take our final break of the hour. Taking your calls, 877-850-8585, or see us on YouTube. We'll be back right after this.
Is your home or condo looking old, worn out, and in need of a fresh look? Then you need PD Painting to paint your property and make it look like new again. PD Painting will first properly prepare your home and condo and then use only the highest quality paint products. After many years in the painting industry, PD Painting has achieved a reputation for always delivering a reliable and professional finish. PD Painting is fully licensed and insured and offers a 7 to 10 year warranty. Their technicians are expert craftsmen. Let PD Painting handle all the details and then sit back and watch them restore your property and bring back that brand new look and feel. Need a service call? PD Painting will be there on the spot. Need financing? PD Painting can offer that too. Call PD Painting at 888-416-3204. Again, that's 888-416-3204. Go to the website pdpaintinginc.com. Need painting done in your home and community? Contact the experts at PD Painting.
This message is for anyone who has taken on the important responsibility of becoming an officer or director in a homeowner or condominium association. It is also for the management companies who work closely with these caring people to make sure things are done the right way. Hello, I'm Gil Pomar, South Florida Regional President for Center State Bank, now the second largest bank based in Florida. Our bank, Center State Bank, has an amazing team of professionals who are exclusively dedicated to the homeowner and condo association market. Your job is not easy. There are repairs and new projects that need financing. There are legal and social issues that need to be understood. There are also technology and servicing issues that your residents want to be improved. Why not choose a bank that knows this business backward and forward? Why not have a local banker who will meet with you face to face whenever it is convenient for you or your board? Center State Bank has over 2,000 associations as customers for a reason. Please give us a chance to earn your business. Call Terry Russo at 954-633-1666 to make it happen. Center State Bank is an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC.
All over the world, people have plumbing problems. These problems can be expensive and destructive to fix. Have you ever wondered if there was a way to take care of your plumbing problems without destruction and an outrageous price tag? Welcome to Pipelining Technologies, Inc., where we specialize in fixing your problems without demolition and minimum cutting by means of pipelining. Pipelining is the ability to take a pipe damaged by root intrusion or long-term deterioration and make it new. By means of inserting an epoxy-saturated liner into the pipe and allowing it to harden or cure, leaving behind a brand new pipe.
That sounds great. How can I get pipelining in my home, commercial building, or condominium?
Simply fill out our online contact form and a pipelining representative will
Find out how much money you made. Is it after each show? I don't. I have no idea.
All right, Karen, you're on in 3, 2, and 1.
Well, welcome back to the final segment of Condo Craze and HOAs here on 850 WFTL. Karen Curtis with attorney Eric Glazer. He's certified and board certified in community association law. Give us a call, 877-850-8585. Don't wait until the end of the show, or you can hit us up in our chat box on our YouTube channel, Condo Craze and HOAs.
All right, who do we got, VJ?
We have Paul in Jensen Beach.
Hey, Paul.
Good morning, Eric.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. I live in a condo association falling under Statute 718. Our bylaws state that we have 9 board members, and the last organizational meeting in January, we only had 7 of the members wanted to apply, so there was no vote of the unit owners, and they didn't need one. Now in February at our regular meeting, 2 unit owners wanted to fill that vacancy. Does the 7 unit board members that are sitting now have the right to accept one and refuse the other? Or can those 2 unit owners just walk on to the board and serve?
They can't walk on. They cannot walk on because they didn't put their names in for the election. So the board has 2 empty spots, and the board has to fill those spots according to your bylaws. So the board can fill it with whoever they want. That's what the law says. So they like one and don't like the other. That's what the law says. They can pick that. They can pick one and don't have to put the other person on the board.
Even though it leaves one seat empty.
Even though it leaves one seat empty, but they still have to fill that other seat. They got to fill it with somebody else.
By when?
There. Right. And the statute doesn't say by when.
Okay.
So this is kind of fast and loose, quite frankly, when it comes to condominiums. But yeah, if your documents say there shall be 9. Then your board has an obligation to put 9. But they also say in the same hand, they get to fill the vacancies, and they can put whoever they want on there. Hope that answers your question. Who else we got, VJ?
Yep. Thank you.
You got it.
We have Bo in Stewart.
Bo, how are you, Bo? Hey, don't wait for the last second. Just want to remind everybody, don't wait for the last second to ask your questions. I hate when the phones are stacked and we got to hang up. 877-850-8585. Okay, Bo, sorry about that.
That's okay. I belong to HOA, and I just want to have a better understanding of the verbiage. It says, well, we have the right to first refusal.
Right. Okay, what does that mean? So let's say somebody in your community wants to sell their home. I'll just make up a number for for $250,000, right? They have to present the board with a copy of that contract. The board typically has, let's say, 30 days to decide whether or not the association wants to buy that unit for $250,000. And let's say the association thinks, you're selling the unit at a very low price because, you just want to move to another state quickly. You have your reasons for just trying to sell it and get out. The association can buy it, right? And that happens sometimes, not too often, but it happens. The association buys it, and then the association could try to sell it for $300,000. Make money on you.
That's interesting.
It happens, but not all the time. Does that answer your question? That's the right of first refusal.
And it keeps the comparables up.
It could, absolutely. Right, correct.
It's good for the whole building, yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Do they have an answer for the reason why they refuse?
They don't have to tell you. They don't have to tell you. They can have a board. They need a board meeting. They need to vote at that board meeting. I'm sure there's going to be some discussion at that board meeting as to why they think it's a good idea. And they can vote at that board meeting to do it. And then it's done.
Well, whose money did they use to buy it?
It's everybody in the association. Everybody, whatever money they got on hand.
And then if they make a profit, where does that money go?
Back to everybody. Back to everybody.
Well, I like it.
Okay? So, if they think it's a good thing for everybody in the community, we can make money on it. That's what they do, and sometimes it's done.
I like it.
Hope that answers your question. Who do we got, VJ?
Let's go to Allie in Miami.
Allie, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Thanks for taking the call.
Sure thing.
One investor has purchased 93 units in our 260-unit building.
Okay.
There are 36 owners who do not wish to sell. We're already doing concrete restoration, which started a year ago, and we have the funds and a manageable assessment for this restoration. What are the possible outcomes, please? We're in Edgewater. Should we sell?
Okay,
Should we
so
stay?
a person has now bought 96 units.
Well,
Let me ask you this. What are they doing with those units currently?
They're renting them out.
They're
as
renting
soon
them
as
out.
They can.
Okay, good.
And
So that's why I asked. Now,
and most of them are rented.
okay, so let me ask you this. Do they have any representation on the board of directors?
No.
So that's
well, not directly, but there's probably an interest in the board or some members of the board to sell the whole building.
okay.
as soon
No.
as
But I'm
possible,
asking you:
and
are
some
they
people-
current? Hold on. There are 96 votes.
Almost half.
Are they basically controlling the board of directors at this point? That's what I want to know. They're not.
No.
Okay.
No.
They're not. So they're not using it for control of the board. So they got 96 units, and they're just going to try to keep buying more. Do you know what your governing documents say about termination? How many units do they need to terminate?
I think it says that 95%
Oh, that's a lot.
of the owners have to agree.
Well, if I represent this person buying these units, right, and it's 95%, I will tell you that there's a reason why I harped on whether or not they're trying to control the board.
Well, no, there's 95% of the unit owners have to vote on it, but I don't think they have to have 95% to have termination.
No, if they had 95% of the vote, they could automatically do it themselves,
okay,
right?
okay.
But they're trying to get to 95%. But what I wanted to make sure is that they're not getting on the board, using their votes to get on the board.
Well, they've got
and
half
dominating
the
the
units.
situation.
They'll be able to next election.
But yeah, apparently for some reason I'm being told that they're not, right? For some reason
It's
they're
weird.
not. Yeah, I agree.
And
I
this
agree.
is weird. It's not a developer. It's an investor.
It's an investor, but you're going to get a lot of these. A lot
Yeah.
of these. So, as long as
Well,
the
it's
guy...
investors slash developers
Yeah.
slash
Yeah.
they want the land.
Sure.
They want the land.
Okay, but if I'm representing them, right, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. If you're telling me they need 95%, and I'm telling you, right, this is very important. This is why I went down this line of questioning. And I'm telling you that because they're renting their units in the ordinary course of business, they're probably not entitled to control the board of directors, right, at all. So it's not like they can get on the board and say, okay, now we're going to pass insane special assessments. You don't want to sell to us? We'll make you sell to us.
Don't the docks have a certain amount
Well,
of people
no.
that can rent,
So
though?
this is typically what developers do. They come in, and you're not going to sell to us? Okay. every unit has to pay $75,000. Now do you want to sell to us? See, but they're not, on this particular situation, it doesn't look like they can do that because they're renting their units in the ordinary course of business. If they're renting the units in the ordinary course of business, they are considered a developer, and because they're a developer and this condo is more than 7 years old, right, they're not allowed to maintain control of the board of directors.
But what if the docs say they can't have more than half the units being rentals?
Then that's enforceable. We can.
Yeah, how many?
It's probably not. Probably don't say that.
Okay.
But it doesn't sound, at least at the moment, you're in a bad position. But maybe you in a group want to speak to an attorney about where you're at and what you could and should be doing to avoid a hostile takeover.
Ooh.
Right? That's what you want to learn. But I'm glad to hear so far that they're not dominating the board. That's a good thing, because once they get on the board, then it's over. Then it's over. Then they're going to make, dramatic special assessments and you need to stop that well in advance. And you need to know what your rights are in that regard well in advance. And I'm telling you that because they're renting, to me, they got a problem. Okay? I hope that answers your question. All right. That brings us, you got it. That brings us to the end. Just to remind everybody, if you need legal help off the air, call Glazer and Sachs, 954-983-1112. Call me at 954-983-1112. Can't wait to see everybody in Orlando and Tampa this week at our board certification course. To register, go to condocrazeandhoas.com. And, of course, we'll speak to you next Sunday right here on Condo Craze and HOAs. And everybody have a wonderful, safe week. Be good, everybody.